allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Costa, we have roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Here.
Mrs. Price.
Here.
Mr. Greco.
Here.
Mr. Lawson.
Here.
Mr. McDowell.
Here.
Mr. Parquet.
Here.
Mr. Pavelko.
Here.
You have the floor.
Mr. President, I'd like to request putting aside the agenda and taking the floor. Mr. President, I would like to put aside the agenda and have the floor.
The floor is yours, Mr.
Thank you.
Malcolm.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1398, repealing ordinance 1181-7 of 1979, establishing compulsory retirement for police officers at 65 years of age.
I'd like the audience to refrain from clapping until we're through with this here, agenda here, please. Thank you. Second. Question on the motion.
This is the ordinance that will repeal the ordinance of 1979.
I have a second. Questions or comments?
I have a comment. I have a comment. Can you, so they can hear back here, please? Sure. If it's all right, I'd like to just talk loudly. Can everyone hear me? Everyone okay? Yeah. I do have a statement to make about this. I was going to wait for the public comment because it concerns this very thing that's coming up. I'm the mayor, Jim McDonough. I took I'm sworn to uphold all ordinances. This ordinance, when it was brought before the mayor, it was said that it was illegal. I immediately submitted to our solicitor. He said that is not true, it is legal. I don't have the privilege that I used to have sitting in the audience to look at something and take it as right, wrong, or indifferent. The main thing is I have to uphold ordinances as they are put before me, no matter who it concerns. Having said that, we had multiple discussions with different council members, with our solicitor present, on how this has to be. What was the intention of all of this? If it's not illegal, then why are you repealing it? Is there any answer?
I never was discussed. This
In
was never discussed with me.
1979, when this,
It was never discussed with me,
ordinance
ever.
was written, the age of 65 was an old age. In 2020, the people living to be 100 years old, 65 is no longer considered old. You're right.
That is a big difference too.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why different. But you
The
should
lady doesn't resign.
Hey,
if
do not talk out of order. Do not, if you have something to say, sign up there and we'll listen to you. This isn't a free, I'm talking.
I wasn't talking.
I'm president. Do not talk out of order.
Thank you. That's well and legitimate. The problem I have is if the intention of this is to, let's just say, protect one person or any person that's currently held by this ordinance, a repeal doesn't do that. It was brought to the attention of this council as a whole that a repeal doesn't do that because it is it goes from this point on. So anyone that it affects as of right now, that ordinance still stands. Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
No, our solicitor told us to repeal.
No, 1 second, 1 second. There is a way that this can be retroactive. If I may, Mr. Solicitor, is that not correct?
council at a stated meeting addressed this issue. The majority of council, by resolution, made a motion expressing their intent to repeal this ordinance. The legislative reason was just summarized by Mrs. Ackerman when she stated that the council has felt by majority that this is no longer applicable in today's world.
I understand that this repeal is from this day forward.
This is an outright repeal.
I understand that. Here's the thing. Whenever this was all brought up, our solicitor had told us this, and this could be a legal matter. So what it did was, like I said, I can't just take it for face value. I have to protect the borough, and I have to protect and have a checks and balances for this council. So what had happened was, me and Mr. Greco seek counsel of our own. And that is Mr. Papasergi.
Who's paying for that?
We are.
You don't?
Yeah, we are.
Mr. President,
Yeah, you're absolutely.
Hey, I will not have this, I will have you removed. I will have you removed. This isn't a free-for-all. If you have something to say, sign off.
No, there is no easy way out of this. And that's why I'm standing here before you to tell you these things. Because we went to seek our own counsel because we were not getting clarity here. I was being told different things from counsel, that they had called PSAP and that they had talked to other people, and I wanted a definitive answer. Because if you're going to do things, you have to do it right. You all sat here through meeting after meeting with old councils where it was done the same way with the towing, with the garbage, with all these other things, and you screamed and yelled whenever they did it. I promised you when I ran it would not happen again. I will make sure it is legal. I will make sure it is right for the borough. I don't have this privilege anymore of you. I have to protect the borough, this council, Superintendent Bryce, from all legal matters. This is why we went and we found counsel.
You work for the people.
You work for the people. We elected you yet.
Yes. 1 second.
hey guys, don't ask no questions. Let him do his spiel, then they'll vote on it.
Yes. This is my question. Mr. Papasergi, would you be kind enough to explain?
No, Mr. Papasergi, he is not a resident of this borough.
Fine.
He might be your counsel.
That's
I
fine.
was not given notice that he was going to be here or even speak, so I'm saying no.
Okay, that's fine. What I want to tell you then is if you rescind this ordinance, you can predate it, then everything is legit. There's nothing about it that is wrong. That is the facts. You can all look it up. If you repeal it, it's from this point forward. You can all look it up. I want to bring this fact up because they can make that motion now, and that is what they want to do. And that is what legally you should do. And it protects the borough and the council's decision. It was brought up before. If it's rescinded and you make it from a certain date, none of this happens.
Yeah, but you say you want to protect the borough. He's doing a fine job protecting them.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have a second.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Mr. Solicitor.
Mr. President, may I
Yes.
comment on the motion, please?
Yes.
Mr. Solicitor, did you or did you not, in a meeting, explain to us that a repeal only goes from this date forward?
I said that has the potential, absolutely.
That's correct. And did we not all discuss that that should not be? If you're going to protect our superintendent, please make it retroactive. Did you not say that you were directed by council to only do a repeal, not make it
This
retroactive?
is an outright repeal.
Correct.
This draft is an outright repeal.
But there's no retroactivity into this, is there?
Council can express that tonight.
Yeah, because they didn't know about the retroactive.
That is not what you told us.
We wanted by. We wanted by.
Come on,
Yeah,
Joe.
we wanted
That is
by.
not what you told us.
No, it was between
What I
them.
told, what I-
Listen,
Mr.
listen.
Director, with all respect, at the time, this ordinance was discovered. There were issues that council discussed at a public meeting about the issues with it.
Yes, it was.
That ordinance never given to us. You possessed it, you held it, and you served him.
No, it was,
Right.
Mrs. Ackerman knew about it, Mr. McDowell knew about it, Mr. Parquet
I didn't know about it. Why didn't I know
Mr.
about
Lawson knew about
You're
it.
nice.
Surely Jimmy had to tell you about it.
Listen, excuse me, sir, you
She should
didn't
have
tell
to hear
me.
from you.
You didn't tell me.
She's a
Okay,
councilman,
that's
she should have heard
enough.
from you.
Mrs. Ackerman wanted to speak. Mrs. Ackerman, you're next.
Thank you.
Most of you here know that I'm not a good public speaker. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read what I want to say. And I really hope you take this all to heart. In a recent newspaper article, our mayor stated that he thought your council violated the Sunshine Act in not informing all residents of our intention to repeal or rescind, or whatever you want to call it, get rid of it, the ordinance number 1181 of 1979. I'm stating this council did not violate the Sunshine Act. We did not have any private meetings. We did not conspire behind closed doors, as some people have done since January 1st. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want you to know why we did what we did. First of all, as with many Donora's ordinances, this one was written back in 1979, 41 years ago. At the age of 65 was old. In those days, it has to be, I'll tell you. It was old. I thought anybody that was over 60 was ancient, okay? Very few people lived to be 100. The life expectancy was 80 years, a complete different lifestyle today than was in 1979. There is a document supporting this fact called the Age Discrimination Act of 1967. Even back then, you could not keep someone from working just because of his or her age. It's even more so today. I realize that this does not pertain to police and firefighters, as their lives are put on the line every day. But this is not age-related. There is not enough time to go back and repeal and rewrite every Donora ordinance, but we have something, so we have to do it as the subject arises. Hence, 1181. Our police superintendent happened to turn 65 in August of 2019. Nothing was done. Our mayor claims to not have been aware of this fact and did not bring it to the attention of council. Now it is 2020 and 4 months have gone by, and our mayor still has not brought it to the attention of council. As of now, he claims he just heard about it, but it is the mayor's responsibility, since he is in charge of the police, to know these things. Now, through the grapevine, council hears of this ordinance and the mayor and president of council's intention to act on it, but no formal meeting was done with council. At this point, the majority of council voiced their opinion to do away with this ordinance and rewrite it, as it only affects one officer, a 40-year veteran of the Donora Police Department, one who has spent his entire life with this borough. Mr. Greco approached Mr. Bryce with a buyout plan. According to our president, Mr. Greco, Mr. Bryce liked the idea and wanted to think about it for a couple of days. The other 5 members of council were notified of this by way of a telephone conversation held by Mr. Greco individually with each council member. Still no formal meeting with all of council present. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the other members of council when I say the way it was presented to me, I thought everything would work out fine. I thought Mr. Bryce was very happy with this, the way Mr. Greco had me believe. But that wasn't the case, as we found out at a meeting held in May. I was brought to this meeting to discuss the buyout for Mr. Greco, and the buyout that Mr. Greco had proposed to Mr. Bryce. I left this meeting stating I was not for this and would never force anyone to retire because of age. And upon legal counsel, wanted to repeal, revoke, get rid of that ordinance totally, wipe it off the books, and let Mr. Bryce and any officer after him decide when they were ready to retire. I firmly believe that no one should be forced to retire just because of their age. After 40 years, of helping to keep Donora safe and putting his life on the line every day, our mayor is going to say, you're done. We don't need you anymore. We don't want you anymore. You're too old. Even after almost 1 year from the time he turned 65, he's no older now than he was this year, last year at this time, and he's still 65. But now you want to force and demand that he retire. After you, Mayor Donna, and you, Mr. Greco, have found out through a legitimate vote at our general meeting last month that the majority of council wants to repeal this ordinance and and give all police officers the right to say when they're ready to retire. Now you want to demand that Police Superintendent James Price retire immediately. After this meeting, our mayor took it upon himself to go to another attorney, not our solicitor, and have the letter demanding that Chief Price retire within 14 days drawn up without talking to council, without the approval of council, without council's knowledge, sent it to Chief Price. Why? Our mayor is giving him 14 days to respond to a letter when this meeting is being held on day 13 of your demand letter. And ordinance number 1181 will be gotten rid of by the second vote needed, by the votes needed to get rid of it tonight. I ask again, why? So you can tell people that you have the utmost respect for our chief, that you wish him the best in his future, when you know darn well after tonight, he's not going anywhere. Not yet, and not in the future. Not yet, and not until he is darn ready. And one other thing I want to address to Mr. Greco. This is off the subject. Mr. Greco has stated since January you were here for the employees. You have done nothing but destroy the morale and cause a hostile work environment in all departments within this borough. Mr. President, that is all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President, may I rebut that?
No, we don't want to hear nothing else from
I would
you.
like to-
We don't want to hear what
We have a motion on the floor. We have a first and a second. Second by Mrs. Ackerman. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes,
Mrs. Bryce,
I am going to pass at this moment and reserve my vote until last.
Mr. Greco,
If it's done in retroactivity, I can comment on my vote. If it's done with retroactivity, I'm in favor of it. If it's not done in retroactivity, if it's just to protect those from today forward, I'm still going to uphold the current ordinance. I believe if you want to keep Superintendent Bryce here, which after listening to most of these lies, I too believe in
we
him
watched the
staying
meeting
here.
on YouTube. That ain't no damn lie. Come on,
All
Chuck.
right, this is it. That's it. That's enough. That's enough.
And I will vote yes if it's retroactive. If
All I
it's not
need is a
retroactive,
yes.
I'm still going to vote the same way.
Mr. Greco, Mr. Greco, I need a yes or no.
Mr.
Mrs. Bryce, you will vote now or you won't vote at all?
No.
You're not reserving your vote till
I can
last.
pass and reserve till last, and I need to know, will this be retroactive?
That's the wish of council.
That's the wish of council. Okay, there you go, that's fine. I pass.
I don't believe you have a vote.
Why not?
Why is she part of council?
Because you can't vote. Mr. Solicitor, does she have a vote in this issue?
You
I've
let,
already advised Mrs. Bryce on her application.
We can't hear you, solicitor.
I've already advised Mrs. Bryce
Listen.
previously on this.
listen.
Which
I-
is,
My advice to her, she has 3 options, which she can choose from. And I understand she also sought her own independent opinion on this. She could state her potential conflict and vote after disclosure. She could abstain from the vote, or she could simply vote and deal with any potential consequence. Was that my advice to you, Mrs. Price?
Okay,
Well, I voted on it last month, so I don't see, I didn't have a conflict last month, so I should be able to vote on it this month, right?
You're part of council.
So
Mrs. Bryce, would you, Mrs. Bryce, talking, either talk to council or talk to our solicitor, not the audience.
Okay, well,
About this.
okay, Steve, you let me vote last month, so I should be able to vote this month. There shouldn't be a problem.
That's entirely up to you.
Then I vote yes.
Mr. Greco, yeah, vote for you?
again, if it's retroactive, my vote is yes.
Say yes or no.
My vote is
We
no.
need a yes or a no. That's all we need, a yea or a nay.
If it's strictly a repeal, my answer is no.
And that's your final answer, no.
Unless it's retroactive,
No,
that's
yes.
exactly right.
Okay, it's no then.
My understanding, Mr. President,
Why don't Mr. Pavelko amend that motion to make it retroactive, and you may get a unanimous vote?
Yeah.
All he has to do is amend his motion,
Amend the motion and make it right.
and do it the right way.
Solicitor, would that be appropriate?
Mr. Fidelka, yes?
Would that be appropriate to,
The comment I was just going to make when I called for Mr. McDowell's attention was just have council state in its motion that it intends for this repeal to be retroactive. That council has to express that intent. And once council expresses that intent, and there's a majority vote, in my opinion, that is final.
okay, then I redo my motion to approve ordinance 1398, repealing ordinance 1181-7 of 1971, retroactively establishing compulsory retirement for police officers at 65 years of age.
Mr. President, would you like me to read the ordinance into the record?
Yes, please.
Bear with me, I don't have a microphone. Ordinance number 1398, an ordinance of the Borough of Donora, Washington County, Pennsylvania, repealing ordinance number 1181-7 of 1979, establishing compulsory retirement for police officers at 65 years of age. Be it enacted and ordained by council of the Borough of Donora, Washington County, Pennsylvania, and it hereby ordained and enacted by authority of the same, finding that ordinance 1181 is outdated and no longer serves the intended purpose as followed. Section 1 repealed. Section 2, that all other ordinances or sections thereof and motions and or resolutions of council inconsistent with this ordinance are hereby repealed, and consistent with Mr. Pavelko's motion would be retroactive if so enacted by this council. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor.
So I make that motion.
Okay, the motion was made by, seconded by Mrs. Ackerman that we repeal this ordinance 1398 retroactive.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Abstain.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mr. President, may I continue to have the floor?
Yes, good.
Okay, now, I was always taught, you keep your assets, you get rid of your garbage. I got a letter that I would like to read here. This is addressed to the Donora Borough Council. Dear members of the council, as a native of the home of champions, I am forever grateful to the leadership of the Borough of Donora for operating and maintaining a racially integrated community that went about its business with pride and respect during my childhood. The Creator has blessed me with opportunities and experiences that I hope others from my birthplace can also pursue. In view of these unique challenges between law enforcement and the citizens they are sworn to protect, I would like to lend a helping hand. As you may know, I am a childhood and lifetime friend of Police Superintendent Bryce. His family's commitment to law enforcement in Donora spans approximately 6 decades. His commitment and integrity in serving our community are unquestioned. When I was home for the community reunion in July, we spoke about the ever-changing challenges facing the Donora Police Department. I would like to do my part to assist with meeting those challenges. I am aware of a law enforcement training program that is operated at CalU. Enclosed is a check in the amount of $10,000 that I will submit to the exclusive funding of a candidate for Donora to participate in the program and to provide law enforcement services to the police department upon completion of the program. I submit this contribution in the name and in honor of my lifetime friend, Jim Bryce. I submit, as a condition of this gift, I ask that Superintendent Bryce be personally involved in identification of the candidate and support their completion of the program. I have not spoken with Superintendent Bryce about this gift. Please thank him on my behalf for his years and hours of dedicated service to our community. Signed, Euless May.
All right, thank you, Mr. Padalka. Let's move on with the,
I have another motion. Mr. Bryce, congratulations.
I make a motion that we, the Donora Borough Council, publicly censure Mayor James McDonough. In so doing, those voting in favor of this censure stands against discrimination of all sorts.
Put it in layman's terms. What is this?
Okay, I'll continue. On May 29th, 2020, Mayor McDonough wrote a letter to Police Superintendent James Bryce dismissing him from his job, effective 14 days from the date of the letter. Mayor McDonough's letter indicated the sole reason for this action was due to Superintendent Bryce's age being 65. Speaking for the majority of the members of the Donora Borough Council, as well as Donora community, we strongly believe that discrimination in employment is wrong. We do not support discrimination in employment practices of any sort, be it based upon race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender, national origin, disability, age, and genetic information. Furthermore, Mayor McDonough erroneously cited Borough Donora Ordinance number 1181 as his rationale for action, even though he was fully aware that the council had previously repealed the ordinance, as it enabled discrimination upon an employee's age. Mayor McDonough willfully and knowingly discriminated against an employee. We, the majority of the Donora Borough Council, do not support or approve Mayor McDonough's malicious discriminatory actions.
Okay.
motion on the floor. May I have a second? Second by Mr. Lawson. Roll call.
Was there comment, discussion on it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Question on the motion?
Yeah, I have a question. How can he be discriminatory when he's upholding an ordinance that he was elected to do? I mean, that's his duties, as well as all of our duties sitting here on council, to uphold the ordinances of this borough.
Wasn't that after the meeting? That was after the last meeting.
Took a vote to repeal that ordinance.
Right. That was after the fact.
That was because council was doing it in an improper way by their misinformation guided individuals sitting down here making the motion.
Where did this misinformation come from?
All you.
All right, we're not going to get into a back and forth there. Are there any more questions on
I
that?
was upholding an ordinance. It was still in effect.
But you didn't see people go around it. You didn't see people go around it. You just automatically wanted them out of it.
No, ma'am.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
We're not going to get into
One
back
second.
and forth.
I did not write an ordinance. This was in 1979, whenever I was
When
in
you hear
grade.
this gavel, I want you to stop what you were doing. Take the roll call. All we're doing is arguing back and forth. We're not getting into this.
It should all been settled before this.
Okay,
Thank you.
take the roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman. Mrs. Price.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
No.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquette. Mr. Caboclo.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mr. President, with that, I'd like to return to the agenda, if you'd like.
Yes, I would. Mrs. Ackerman, Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Payroll report.
I'm sorry. Public address agenda. Public address for agenda items.
Mr. President, I would just like to remind council and the audience, by our rules established years ago, 3 minutes is proper for public comment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solicitor. Yes, 3 minutes. We'll allow you 3 minutes for the agenda items. Mrs. Sabatini.
That would be me. Let's see. I have one. Do I have to string? Here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good evening, council, audience. I've only spoken on the podium down here in Donora one other time, and that was when they were bringing sewage into our plant, and I had questions. So now this is the second time. I'm not a busy person. I don't want to know everybody's gossip, what they did, when they went to bed. I'm not on Facebook, okay? But once in a while, I've been a lifelong resident of Donora and a homeowner for 47 years. I do know most of the shady things that have happened in this town over the past 50 years. Things Mayor McDonough, you're oblivious to. So when I read the front page of a local paper about Superintendent James Bryce, I lost it. This man devoted and served our borough for 40 years so very well, and for someone to go dig in an archive and dig up this smut, I can't believe it. You want him to retire at 65? Maybe some of you people back there ought to retire at 65. It would have been better to see something on the front page of the newspaper that Donora is improving on something. Why don't you go, whoever started this, go dig in the sewer somewhere with a shovel and pick. You'd do a lot better. And I hope that whoever did start this comes back to kick you in the ass. Amen.
Bishop Roderick Wilson, Sr.
Okay, good.
We don't really need a mic. Let me just say this, and I'm glad you did what you did. Chief Bryce has been very good to the community and to our kids. Him and his officers often engage with the kids in a positive way. Now, my son here just graduated from Ringham, and there's been a couple times that I brought him down to Chief Bryce and let Chief Bryce talk to him. And then there's been often times that Chief Bryce has had his officers talk to the young boys while they play football up in the field. That's what kind of chief that we had. Now, Mayor, you were wrong on that. And I hope and pray that, you put it out there in the public. Now, with all the civil unrest that's going on in the country, racial division, this wasn't a good time, especially when a pandemic and an African-American chief who's done a wonderful job to go out and make head under an old law and what most of us, especially I do, consider age discrimination. You can't be doing that. I had already alerted the black press and certain news entities what was going on in the Donora concerning this chief that they were trying to go after. You know, you can't be doing that, especially doing this time. He's up in America too. Yeah, that's a bad deal. Now, since we got this straight, and I hope he stays for a long time, I hope that the council, I know you guys talked about it in y'all's workshop. Y'all can go in executive council because the summer goes fast. Go ahead and approve for us to have pits in the back of our yard. You can do that tonight. 20 feet, charge people $20 or $50 for the permit, like you said, and if somebody violates the rule and the fire department is called, then they lose their permit. Y'all can do that tonight. Number 3 is, these young kids have had a hard time graduating. I mean, hey, it's been tough. Are you guys going to have a parade for the Donora kids that graduated from Ringham? That would be a tremendous gesture. That's what a lot of towns and boroughs are doing. And number 4, we'll be having something soon to recognize certain things that have been going on in the country as far as some civil unrest and some unjust things that have happened. And Mr. Greco, let me just say this in closing. I know you said something at the workshop about, and you're a good man, that you didn't want anything to happen like what happened on McKeesport as far as the Anton Road. That's not going to happen because Chief Bryce has not let that happen. Because he's way ahead of the game as far as he got his officers in check, that's one thing. And number 2 is that he talks to the kids. He's proactive. So we're not going to have anything, in my opinion, that will take place like what happened in East McKeesport and some other things that's happening around the country. I'm convinced of that because he's a good chief. He knows what's going on. All right, so we're all right.
Thank you very much, Bishop. Mrs. Pictures.
Everybody knows me, I don't need a microphone. But I will say 2 things. I'm appalled at you, and I'm appalled at you. Because this right here should have never happened. Now, I had 3 kids of my own, but I raised 5. When I had problems with my girls, called Mr. Bryce. He would come up and talk to my children and tell them what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. And as far as this community, we may not have a gas station, we may not have a grocery store, but it's a safe place to live. Because of James Bryce. Now, this stuff right here about this age discrimination, it's more than that. And why is he being called the superintendent when, as far as I worked at the borough building, there was a chief? What is he going to be titled as a chief? Why can't he be chief? Why is he superintendent? That should have been changed a long time ago. That's all I gotta say. I'm for James because he's always been there for me. He's known me since I was a kid. He's known my kids. He sits and talks to kids. When you're doing wrong, come on, you gotta do this, you have to do this. And most of the kids do listen to him. And he does have his officers in check. So furthermore than that, hey, you know it's a safe place because of who? James Bryce.
Thank you, Ms. Pictures. Mr. Lynn Price. Mr. Lynn Price.
He stepped out. You might want to go to the next.
Okay, Mr. David Hunter.
He's coming now. There he comes.
Excuse me, okay.
No, I got to report the voice. My name is Lynn Price, and I wanted just to say.
You got to speak up.
Turn around.
Okay.
Here, use the microphone, man.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lynn Price, born and raised here in Donora. I came here to see what the outcome was, and I'm glad it was to the benefit of Jimmy. I've known him when I was a kid. He always talked to us, told us other things better than the Valley, but it's not like the Valley. That's why I'm back here. But looking at him, talking to me as a young kid, thought I was lost, nothing else to do, didn't know what I was going to do. He talks to me, talks to my brother, and we, to this day, we're still friends, love him, love his family. His brother Mark was my best friend, and I'm just glad that the council and the people come up for Jimmy Bryce, and he can retire when he's ready to. And that's what everybody's like that. So it should be every job when you're ready to go, not for something. So I'm glad, and I'm not going to keep you long, I'm glad it worked to his advantage, and thank you for letting me speak.
I'll be very brief, because what I came to find out already happened. And the fact of the matter is, I was, and I'm still confused at why this all had to happen, and how it was all brought about, and what the whole process was. Because as I sat here, it didn't seem that complicated to me. The going back and forth about the old ordinance, which is a clear violation of the federal anti-discrimination law. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but I can read, and I do contract work. That was pretty obvious. And then the thing about the retroactivity also, I understand why that happened. And I also understand why the mayor was trying to, for whatever reason, uphold the old law. Because it was the law at the time. But once it was repealed, unless I'm missing something, and I don't think I am, why did we have to spend the last half hour going back and forth? It was done. Vote on the repeal, make it retroactive, done. Also very happy that, and on behalf of our family, my cousin Yulis is setting up the scholarship at Cal in Jimmy's name. I can say the whole family is extremely proud of Yulis and Jim. Lastly, these are the things that have a lasting impact. We can scream and holler, jump up and down, but the bottom line is, what are the things that are going to have a lasting impact? Is we can get some more minority officers trained through this scholarship. That can only be a good thing. So thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Finance.
Okay. Payroll report for the month of May 2020. Administration, $10,388.80. Tax collection, $3,624.96. Borough building, $1,500. Police, $54,715.61. Fire, $213.93. Code enforcement, $2,646. Sanitation, $1,980. Highway and streets, $30,999.70. Total payroll report for the month of May, $106,069.00. Treasurer's report for the month of May 2020. Balance in the checking account as of May 1st, $250,840.17. Balance in the checking account as of May 31st, 2020, $341,572.12. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Question on motion. Can I have a second?
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
report for the month of May 2020. Total amount of the bills paid in the month of May, $61,074.21. Mr. President, I can make a motion to accept the bill report as read.
Sorry, question on the motion? Second. Yeah, second on the motion. Mr. Watson. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'd like to read the report on the auditor's report for the tax collector's report for the year 2020, May of 2020. Total cash received in taxes for this year is $119,612.32. I make a motion, Mr. President, to approve the tax collector's report as read.
I have a motion by Mrs. Ackerman and a second by Mr. Parquet. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mr. President, that's all I have for today. One announcement to make: due to the CDC guidelines, our tax collector Susan Metalvo's office is closed to the public. You can mail, put your payment in her mailbox, or pay by credit card or phone. If you need a receipt, please include a self-addressed stamped envelope with your payment. Now I'm done, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the May 14, 2020 council meeting, and council had an executive session on June 4, 2020 to address legal matters.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 14, 2020 meeting.
Second.
Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Health sanitation code enforcement. Mrs. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay. Inspections, 177. Zoning permits, 11. Compliance orders, 110. Code enforcement report, permits issued, 11. Construction costs, $107,700. Permit fees, $1,192. That's a real nice $107,000 in construction. Occupancy permit fees, $85. Year-to-date total, $485, I should say. Registration permit fees for the month of May, $1,165. Year-to-date total, $16,515. And that's the end of my report, please.
Parks and Recreation, Mr. Greco.
Mr. President, we need to make a motion that we approve the payment of to Martinak Consulting for $2,394 on the for the rails and trails feasibility study.
Second.
Scotty, excuse me, Scotty, you paid somebody $2,000 to study your drill? It was a grant.
It was a grant money, we were forced to.
That's not our money.
Thank God.
I have a motion by Mr. Greco. I have a second by Mr. Parquet. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bryce, I'm sorry, excuse me, Mrs. Ackerman.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce.
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Mr. Parquet.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Mr. President, also, it was discussed at the last meeting that we'd like to appoint some people to the Recreation Board. I've contacted several people that I asked to put in letters of interest, and once they submit that letter of interest, I think we're going to need to get child approval from the state, along with their record, if any. I would like to make that recommendation once they send in a letter. I had asked Bobby Duda to put in a letter. I had asked Mark Bundy to put in a letter. And Chantel Bay, I asked her to put in a letter since she deals with kids and youth in our community. And anyone else that's interested, please submit your letter here to the borough. It's on the Parks and Recreation. I also discussed at the work session, and I don't know if Mrs. Petrowski has looked into it for me or not, but at First Street and Allen Avenue, I'd like to put in 2 basketball courts up there for the youth. On Allen Avenue between First Street and Bradford.
How about a playground? We have a lot of smaller kids up there too.
If you can find a place for the playground, that's fine. Excuse me, please, excuse me. The junior high school, is what I'm told, is only you can only utilize a certain section of it. You can't utilize the rest of it because the school is under the ground, and you can't build on it, number one. Number two, you can't get the kids to play too close because it's within so many feet of Chubb's Pub. That's why I asked to have it down there by Allen Avenue between First Street and Bradford Way. Can't take but 30 feet in one direction and they can go the whole distance on the other.
So when they tore it down, they didn't fill in
From what I'm told,
That's what I was told.
by Mrs. Bryce,
Someone who wanted to buy it for could not buy it for what they wanted it for because of the soil contamination.
the only thing that I can imagine would be under that would be the gymnasium, because that's the only thing that was out there. Well, that could be under there as well. But at any rate, I'd like to see a basketball court, 2 basketball courts built there. There's plenty of room, and it gives the kids someplace to go and play in that area, because in that area, there's absolutely nothing.
Well, I do have one question about that too. I mean, I brought it to some of the policemen's attention that we have a lot of cars that run through stop signs on First and Allen, and the kids summertime, they do go over the field, they practice football over there. I take my grandkids over there, we play soccer. I mean, they're running these stop signs.
I agree with you, but that's under Mr. Pavelko's category, not ours. Again, do I need to make a motion for the basketball court?
We need to have a study for the basketball.
I thought that was conducted a month now already.
No, it hasn't been. We just talked about it last week.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Greco?
No, that's it, our best.
President McDowell, sir, I missed the page for the garbage bill. Would you like me to read it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, real quick. Money collected for sanitation fees, $44,550. Delinquent fees, $16.94, and fines, $100 to the magistrate. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Bryce. Mr. Greco, can you read your park report? I don't believe you read it. No, you didn't read the park comments. Would you like to read it?
Again, if I was given a Parks report, I did not wish
I
to.
showed you earlier. Just the thing I showed you earlier. There was no money collected.
No money collected?
Okay.
So then there's nothing to read.
Okay, well, everybody knows. Mr. Lawson, Community Affairs Municipal Building.
At this time, right now, Council President, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
How is the streets, Mr. Parquet?
Okay, I have a motion to reappoint Fred Garstecki to serve on the Board of Directors of the Mid-Mon Valley Transit Authority for a 5-year term through December 2024.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to appoint Mr. Garstecki. Have a second. Mr. Pavelko, roll call, please.
Mrs. Ackerman? Yes. Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And I'd also like to thank our street crew and our Commissioner Mike Petrowski for their work last night cleaning up after the storm. They were out there till late in the night, and I understand they were out there today also cleaning fallen trees off the road. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burkett. And I believe public safety, we went through it. Is that correct, Mr. Pivato? I'll read your report, I'm sorry. Your report?
All I have is an announcement that there's an opening seeking interested candidates to fill a vacancy on the Police Civil Service Commission. Please submit a letter of interest to the Borough Administrator, Administration Office. Police report for the month. There was 164 incidents. Total offenses were 13. Total arrests were 11. And total revenue, total ball revenue received was $1,298.61. It's pretty important that we get somebody on the civil service board. So please come down and put a letter in. Mr. President, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Burkett. Some, thank you, Mr. Pivato. Okay, I'd just like to thank everybody for attending this meeting. It's nice to see a turnout of this magnitude. We are trying to head in the right direction. I think we are. You know, we're not always going to make decisions that are favorable to you, or that you might think are not favorable to you. But we were elected to make the hard decisions. A lot of times they're not very favorable, but they have to be done. And a lot of times we might not see the big picture, and I'm glad that you're able to come forward and give us your input on certain things, because we are elected officials. We weren't appointed. We were elected by you. We serve the people. We serve at your pleasure. And that's something that you should never let us forget. Thank you very much. Mayor, do you have anything to say here?
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate exactly what you just said. It's absolutely right. I'm glad to see all of you here. I like to see you here all the time. It's not always popular what we do. I have no problem with anything that happened tonight. My main goal tonight was to get recension. That was it. To do it right. It won't always be popular. It's brought before me again, any ordinance.
Yeah, but why don't you just say what do you want to do? Is there any way we can get around it, Jim? We know you don't want to retire. No, you can't even do that.
Ma'am,
Just put it in your own hands.
this was all discussed, and we couldn't come to it. They just said they wanted to repeal it, and it was argued that the repeal wouldn't do it. But tonight, the recension went in. It was done correctly. It is what it is. In 1979, that ordinance came out. I was in grade school. Most of the ordinances you have right now were before I was born. But you put them before me, and I will enforce them, because that's what I swore I would do when you elected me. So it may not be favorable, but that's all right. The mayor's office is supposed to have the biggest shoulders in town, and I'll bear this burden. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Solicitor?
I do have a matter I'd like council to consider under new business. Mr. President, I request a motion from council for 3 petitions for emergency demolition. I'd like you to authorize me to pursue those in court. Mr. Jericho, on behalf of CODE, has identified 3 structures that are unsafe in the borough. With summer storms and deterioration, I'm concerned that we won't be able to pursue them safely come July. So I would just ask that council, we've discussed this at a number of different occasions. I would just ask that council make that motion on your behalf.
Motion to authorize the solicitor to pursue emergency demolition.
Second.
We have a motion to pursue emergency demolition by Mr. Burkett, second by Mrs. Ackerman. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Parquet?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Mike.
Motion passed.
Mike, will you be doing it?
That all, Mr. Solicitor?
Yes, Mr. President. And Mr. President, what about the fire pit?
We're still working
We're
on
still working
it.
on it.
Next month. It'll be done next month.
My name on the list up there?
Yes, we're at the end.
They didn't get to it yet, Jim.
Mr. Bryson?
It's not that time yet.
Mr. Oscar?
No report.
Mr. Mims? Okay.
Kenny?
Okay, Mr. Jericho?
No, President.
Okay, old business. New business. Public address on the agenda. Mrs. Bay?
I know I use that. I'll speak up. Okay. Hi, sorry, everybody, this is nothing that's on the agenda. We're going into, I run a nonprofit organization in Donora. We do a lot with the at-risk youth, and we're going into our 5th year of our summer program. And usually we have the kids come down and get like lunch and snacks, but also we do activities and lessons and so forth with them. Well, of course, with COVID, it's going to be a bit different this year, as you can imagine. So we're still going to do lunch and snacks, but it'll be a grab and go. And also get the hot meals, and we're going to prepare it the same way. But they're also going to get activity back. They're just going to have all the activities and all the supplies that they need to be able to complete the activities and lessons. You know, at times whenever your kids get stuff for school to do, you don't have all the materials to be able to complete that activity. So we're going to be able to provide that. But I would really like, there's been many years that not a lot of people within the police department or the fire department and council has, you know, come in, been a part of it, and more community members. And I really want to put it out there, if anybody can help us this summer with these kids. They're going to need now more than ever. They've done a school since March. All the pools are closed. I mean, there's nothing really for them to do, and they're going stir crazy. But we're going to need a lot of help and hands on deck in this one day. And I know we can do it. I've seen the community come together with this COVID pandemic, and it's been so inspiring. And with Superintendent, you still, you know, being here, you know, God bless you. And you and some of your, you know, fellow policemen, and, you know, where is Patsy? If, you know, fire department can come, that would be a great help. Just bringing the kids together with those in our community that they look up to. Usually we don't have as many people here at the city council meeting, so they come prepared with a lot of flyers. But if I can leave some dates with you guys, it starts July 1st to August 14th from 11:45 to 1 o'clock down at the Strive and Thrive Center, which is the old Head Start between Beauty Mart and Six Half Shop. So if you know any youth that can benefit from it, it's 0 to 18, all across. We don't care, you know, how much you make or anything. We just really want to get these kids actively engaged. So again, it's nothing that pertains to this. So it's just something I'm putting out there for everybody. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. James Tito?
Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate Jimmy Price. Does a magnificent job. I've known him since he was 11 years old. And I've been proud of him ever since, trust me. And Mike does a good job, and Kenny does a good job, and because but anyway, Donora, it's a great town. I've been there for 79 years. And, I got trees up on my yard, not in my yard, in the neighbor's yard, got to be 10 feet away from my house. Okay, which I like to get it corrected, but I can't get it, can't get it done. And other than that, I'll tell you the truth, I've been in this town all my life, and nobody could ever say anything racial to me about Donora. Trust me. Trust me. And why we have this little problem here tonight, I don't understand. Joe been on the council for how long? Month and a half, 2 months, and you elected to get best chief of police in the valley.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
you agree?
I agree.
Because for the
Not
job.
only in this valley, but throughout the county. I would be the first to tell you that. I worked with that guy.
Okay, then why do you want to get rid of
I
it?
didn't want to get rid of him, we just wanted things done the right way, that's all.
No gratitude? Give him 2 years, 3 years, whatever he wants. Great guy, like I said, I've known him since he was 11 years old. I didn't get introduced to him 2 years ago. You know, never heard him say a word. Never heard him say a word. But anyway, the council, I think he did a good job in the Velcro and whatever, that's all I have to say. I'd just like to get a little problem fixed up in my road, you know. Thank you, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Mr. Kevin Davis, is he still here? Kevin Davis? Okay, motion to adjourn.